I'm in charge of sharing with everybody about MovieTalk. I think that MovieTalk is a really easy starting place if you've never done TPRS before. MovieTalk really came out of TPRS when Blaine Ray first, I guess, created TPRS. TPRS is considered to be a method, and when he first created it, I think it was really challenging for a lot of people because it's like to just jump right in with 2 feet to TPRS is really challenging, and that's actually what I did because there was really nothing else at that time. But MovieTalk is nice because you don't have to create a story, the story is already there for you. Yeah, so basically you're just picking and choosing what you want to do for the story, right? So I'm going to kind of just share with you a little bit of background, and then I'm just going to do a short demo of how, the process of MovieTalk. And then from there, then hopefully if you guys want to try it out, I'll coach somebody through, depending on how much time we have, I could do a couple people possibly, coach you through the process. And basically what you'll get is more practice with circling, right? Because with TPRS, it's just circling, but in a million different ways. This is the Spanish version of Look I Can MovieTalk. So this is written by Blaine Ray. There's only Spanish or French available. I think the Spanish version has a downloadable, but I think the French you actually have to order a DVD for. I was trying to look it up the other day. But anyway, this is, Blaine Ray created this to go with several different stories, several different little movies. There's actually, I think there's 9. Looks like there's 9. Yeah, there's 9 different ones. So let me go through what it is. So basically, MovieTalk, as I said, it uses the circling technique to narrate a short film. The short films that you'll use are usually animated shorts, but you can also use like commercials and things like that. The idea really is best if you can find something where there's no dialogue, because basically you're creating the story, you're creating the dialogue for the students. And then what you do is you can script this for different levels. So, for a very, very beginning level class, I'm going to create a very, very, very basic script, and I'm going to focus on what I want to focus on. So for today, with the animated short that I chose, we're just going to focus on descriptions in Spanish, because I don't know, who in here, speaks Spanish or doesn't speak Spanish, but I'm going to target it for a very beginning. I wouldn't typically do a MovieTalk the first day of class. A MovieTalk, I would probably wait until I've done some other, card talk and kind of gotten the students familiar with the language and the process. Using the posters that I have in my room and things like that. It's going to be a little bit down the road. So, for a level 1 class, maybe like 3 weeks in, I might do a MovieTalk for the first time, but at a very, very basic level. I like to use MovieTalk in level 2 and also level 3. The students, like it, and you can make your script, as difficult or as easy as you want. Depends on the students. And then you can also find movies that really target something that you're looking for. For example, there's one animated short called Destiny, and in that one, it starts out, the guy's in bed, his alarm clock goes off, he gets up, he gets dressed, you know what I mean? And so he goes through this process of like a morning routine. And so if that's what your focus is and you want, the students to talk about their routines, that's a good one because he kind of goes through that routine. So you can target it to different things. Another one, for Spanish 2, we do a whole kind of little mini unit at the beginning of the year about pets. And so there's one called Mouse for Sale, and it's, about this mouse in this pet store. And so, something like that, I would use that to kind of target what it is that I'm trying to do. But you could also just do it because you don't have anything else to do, and you're like, I need to do something today. What am I going to do? And you can do this. So once you create your script and you have that available, then it makes it a lot easier. You can just access that. So like I said, targeting vocabulary, it's really optional. You can target it, or you can just be like, I'm just going to do this. But I would definitely go into this prepared with some sort of a skeleton of what you want to say, because what happens is you kind of get off task. And like today, I realized I never brought a skeleton for this, but I'm not going to go through the whole story with you. I'm going to go through like a very short part of it. But if I was doing a whole, like if I was taking you through a whole entire MovieTalk, which normally will take me 2 days, I would have to have a script for that to be able to make sure I don't get off track. Okay, so why use MovieTalk? it really engages the students. It gives them something visual to look at, and our students, they love, I mean, that's just this day and age, everyone loves videos, everyone loves to watch, watch things like that. It also has surprise endings, so when I said that I do it over 2 days, the reason why usually is because I'll take them, well, it takes a while to get through it, but also take them to a certain point that's like the most like edge of your seat, like, oh my gosh, I want to find out what happens next. And, oh, okay, we're gonna finish it tomorrow, and they're like, ah, and then they'll go home and some of them will watch it on YouTube, which is fine. But then the next day, they'll come back and they'll be like, I watched it, I know what's going on. So I take them to the edge of their seat. And stop there, and then finish the story the next day. And then the other reason why we do it over 2 days is because we're trying to give them lots of repetition. And so, it goes slow, and we want it to go slow, and then we want to be able to go back and review that the next day, and take them through that once again, because we're trying to get them to acquire that language. It can be very low prep. Like once you create a skeleton story, then it's there, right? So it can be very low prep. At the beginning, though, when you start to create these, it's a little bit more. Another thing is that it can also you can also incorporate culture into these. So there's, for Spanish, for example, I mean, I know the Spanish examples because that's what I teach, but there is one for Dia de los Muertos.
My kids love that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so you can use those and kind of incorporate culture. There's another one called Maritza, the stubborn donkey, I think it is, and it's like this donkey and it goes up this hill, but anyway, so, it's different things, so you can kind of incorporate a little bit of culture in there, and looking for those cultural things is definitely, good to do. So here's a few examples. The one we're going to watch today is called Alma, and then Destiny was the one I told you about, where he goes through that morning routine. Maritza, the stubborn donkey, Dia de los Muertos. Mr. Bean, those Mr. Bean videos, those are really good, especially for repetitious kinds of things, because usually he does kind of repetitious things. Getting up late for the dentist, this is my favorite one. It's really funny, and the students like it. And then Mouse for Sale was the one I was telling you about. But there's a link here, and I actually, what did I do? I put it in the Google folder. I think I just put the link on a page in the Google folder. There are like hundreds of different movies or different animated shorts and commercials and things, and in that in this link it says like the name of it, has the link to the video, and then it also has like little descriptions like like, oh, it's really good for morning routines, or it's really good for it has like little descriptors in there, so you have access to that. I also, like, I would take, when you look at this, maybe take a picture of this page that has all the ones that are in here. These are all good ones. And then the other thing too, I don't think I have this on my slideshow, but if you're going to use one of these, they're on YouTube, but what I recommend is download it, from YouTube onto your computer. I'll talk to you, since some of you I had yesterday, some of you I didn't, a little bit about the posters. So I have in my room, I have a poster that students can use to refer to respond to things, because just like with TPRS, just like with any kind of circling thing, you want your students to interact with you. So I would go through with my students at the beginning of the year, and I would say, clase, repite, qué bueno.
Qué bueno.
Fantástico.
Fantástico.
Maravilloso.
Maravilloso.
Es obvio.
Es obvio.
Por supuesto.
Por supuesto.
Claro que sí.
Claro que sí.
Negativo. Oh no, oh no.
Oh no.
¡Qué barbaridad!
Qué barbaridad.
¡Qué triste!
Qué triste.
¡Qué tontería!
Qué tontería.
¡Qué raro!
Qué raro.
No es posible.
No es posible.
Okay, so for me, they're pretty obvious because they're cognates. I don't translate any of those. I just go through them, and then I'll refer to them and use them, and then the students will just kind of start using them in class. And then I also have question word posters in my room. Actually, I don't have a poster. What I have are little posters like this, and I usually put them.
Martinez.
I put them across my board in the top.
I
But I actually have one of these.
I love
But I got these. So, yeah. that way I have that to refer to. I would also have in my classroom, color poster, all of those body parts, like all of those things. And they're just up all the time, and they're tools, right? And so we want our students to be able to, use tools, because that's what, they should be doing.